Okay, in these copies, 285, you're going to have to excuse my voice today, but that's it. Okay, the Rebbe first, in the first paragraph, the Rebbe basically summarized the Basi Legani. The Shechina was here, left, Moshe Rabbeinu brought it back. How? By breaking evil, the transforming evil. Every Jew has to do that within themselves, make a base of Mikdash, and that's the whole thing of transformation of evil. And then he says that, okay, this is what we're up to now. Hine Yedua, second paragraph of 285. Hine Yedua, Bir B'dir Kloshin Nisava Dafka, we learned these few lines yesterday. It's known that the meaning of the word Nisava, Shazau in Yanayla, Yosef, this is a higher thing. In the creation and the making of the world, like we said yesterday, Eitz Chaim says, why did God create the world? So one reason it says is because God wanted to show how great He is. Well, Maamarim is even higher level than that. Why did Hashem create the world? Because the nature of good is to do good. So therefore Hashem wanted to create a world which is good.
Why God would care for us to think that
By
it's being?
nature, everything likes to reveal itself. People like to talk, and when you shut them up, it's torture. Why? Because the nature of everything is to reveal. Hashem revealed His powers. By the way, why down here is there this concept of a person revealing himself? Speech, action, or whatever it may be. Because that's the way it is up there. So that Arizal Sai says, why did Hashem create the world? Two reasons. Either to reveal Shleimus Kerchesev U'Poleisev, to show the completeness of His actions, or Tevatev Lehetiv. He said, but this kavanah of Dira B'Tachtoinim, Nisav HaKadosh Baruch Hashem desired, that the Medrash says, and Chassidus basically uses, is much greater than that. Why? Ki ha'taimim anal teva tev lehetiv. U'legalush l'meisav kerchesav poleisav ein bir ala kushya. Explains a question, and then you answer. Meaning like this. Why did Hashem create the world? Because. That means that level of God is a level that's questionable. It's questionable. I'll explain in a second. Nisava Kodesh Baruch Hashem desired to have a world, a dwelling place in this low world. As the Rebbe said, if a time is kinkashin. And you can't ask, why do you desire it? There's no logical explanation to desire. And therefore, desire comes from a place which is above intellect, above emotions. It comes from the essence, which is, by the way, the level of Yechidah. You have Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, okay? Action, Midas, Seichel, willpower, and then Yechidah, which is the essence, is the level of Tainuk.
Emunah?
Tainuk.
Emunah is higher than?
No, that is a level of Emunah. It just has to be revealed. So he said like this, Hainu, Sho'eng in Nisava. The level of Nisava, Mitzad Atmos, comes from the essence of Hashem, and therefore it says, Nisava, which is Mitzad Atmos, B'negel Inyan Adiro, therefore it says, what did the essence of Hashem want? A dwelling place. Why? Like we learned yesterday, Inyan Adiro Latzmusi Yizbarach. Okay, because the concept of a home is where your essence is revealed. The real you is at home, not in the street. In other words, like this. When the Arizal writes that Hashem created the world because He wanted to reveal His power as the nature of good to do good, that represents a level of godliness that's connected to question and answer the level of seichel. In other words, why did Hashem reveal those powers of seichel, of elokus? To reveal it because the nature of good is to do good. That comes from a level of godliness where you can ask a question and you can answer it. Nisava Kodesh Baruch Hu means not that there's a question and you're answering it. There's no question even. The essence of Hashem is above questioning. And therefore it's a much deeper level of godliness than what the Eitz Chaim says to reveal. Not that the Eitz Chaim, God forbid, is wrong. They're talking about different levels of Elokus. In the levels of Elokus where question could be questioned, that's what Arizal's talking about. The ultimate level of creation is Nisava, meaning the essence of Hashem wanted a dira, which is to the essence of Hashem, down here. And now the Rebbe explains, what?
Can't you say that even at higher level, not that he wanted the original because he wanted to see.
No, he desired. And if a desire, you can't ask why.
On the desire, but even that is an answer.
No, it's not why did God create the world. The Medrash says God created the world not because it's a reason. Right? Because it's a reason. Nisava Kodesh Baruch Hu means there is no reasoning to it.
That we can comprehend.
Correct.
Maybe there is.
Well, it's from a level of Elokus which is above our understanding. Let's leave it that way, which makes it easier to
It's
understand.
honestly above his understanding too. I mean, and his understanding in are one.
Well,
but
the
it's
level
above-
of Hashem's understanding goes all the way up there.
So it's one with him.
Yeah, it's one with him.
So his taiva, understanding, emotions, everything is one with him.
Correct.
If he's everywhere, why does he all of a sudden
Reveal.
I want to be
Reveal.
Oh, I haven't.
To
I didn't
infinite
say-
beings.
When we do a mitzvah, we learn Torah, we do a mitzvah, we are bringing down the essence of God in the world in a revealed way. We are blind, we don't see it. Mashiach comes, our eyes will be opened.
How do we know?
How do you know there's a God? How do you know there's a God? How do you know there's a concept called Mashiach? It's called belief. If you don't believe, there's no
We don't know, we believe.
Right, right,
We
belief.
think,
Right.
Well, Rabbi, like if somebody asked me why did Hashem create the world, I was going to say because he wanted a deer to talk to him. That's an
But
answer.
that answer is above the level of question, because you can't ask a question, why did he have a taiva?
Because you're saying because
You want, you're saying that the question cannot be analyzed. Or
Right.
the answer cannot be analyzed.
I'll give you an example. Certain questions, not because it's lacking, because the question is not a question. There's this great philosophical question. If God can make everything, can God create another God? Or can God create a stone that he can't pick up? So philosophically, what's the question? You're saying he could pick up the stone, but then you're saying he can't pick it up. Or do you say he can't do it? That means there's something God can't do. Why isn't that a question? Because it's like asking the question, can you make a square circle? Can you make a square circle? A square circle? Not a square in a circle in a square. Can you make a square circle?
it's bendable, if it's made out of plastic.
no longer
If it's a circle, you make it a square. It's not a circle.
Oh, you're saying
Can you make a square circle? It's not because you can't do it.
Then it's not.
Because such an existence can't be.
It's either this or that.
Something lacking. You know what? You're really lacking because he can't make a square circle. It's a ridiculous statement. Not that you can't make a square circle can't exist. A created God can't exist. A stone that God can't pick up doesn't exist. In Nisava Kodesh Baruch Hu Yisbarach Dira B'Tachtenim, it means there's no reason. Hashem had this desire that he wanted. Like the Rebbe said, if a time you can't ask any questions because it's above seichel. And he says, okay, v'yuven and Yosef yiteichen advarim this says there, we'll understand this 10th chapter of the Alter Rebbe. Of the Friedrich Rebbe. Peter is a Baal Shem Tov, based on the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov. By the way, we mentioned many times already. Twice a year, there were Maamarim that the Rebbe said that included all the Rabbeim, except the first Basi Legani Tafshin didn't have the Baal Shem Tov in the Magid. So the next Maamar, the Rebbe said Yosef Beganim, he included the Baal Shem Tov in the Magid. Twice a year, Rosh Hashanah and Yud Shvat, the Maamarim that the Rebbe said had all the Rabbeim starting from the Baal Shem Tov Magid, and the later years, the Rebbe even added his father to the Maamar. Okay? So this, in that, by the way, it's not necessarily in order. Like for instance, the Rebbe already mentioned the Alter Rebbe of a type of, but then it's not necessarily in order, but all the Maamarim. In fact, it's interesting. The Rebbe used to give, it ended up being 4 letters. The Rebbe used to give out 2 michtav klali, 2 general letters to B'chol B'nai Yisrael B'chol Mokum Shein, Erev Rosh Hashanah and Erev Pesach. Then it was a week before, and it became 2 letters. And in those letters, it was like a page and a half, 2-page letter, and there were footnotes that the Rebbe wrote. You know, Maamarim sources. All those letters, not in the first few years, but I'm talking about Torshin Tezvav and on, or those years, in the footnotes of the Rebbe's letters were all the Rabbeim, Baal Shem Tov, Magid, Alter Rebbe, and the later years his father too.
Why did
Huh?
Why did he do that?
He was bringing them down. What is in L'Chodeidi, the wedding Maamar? The Friedrich Rebbe said, I'm going to say a Torah of the Baal Shem Tov, Magid, Alter Rebbe.
Invite them to the wedding.
Huh?
To invite them
To invite them to the wedding. So Rosh Hashanah and Yud Shvat, when the Rebbe became Rebbe, so that's he's
to
inviting.
invite them to bring them to the wedding.
He's inviting them down into the world. Okay, anyway, he says the Yov and Yosef Teichen Atvarim. Al Peter is about Shem Tov Shemreis and Vasunusei Shalodom. Sometimes, because of too much modesty, Geirim Shenisrachik Me'avedas Hashem Yizbarich. Sometimes false modesty causes you to be far away from Hashem. Simply it means, he's going to explain. Who am I to do this? You think God cares? I mean, no, nobody. So therefore, why bother doing it? Right? This modesty that has negative modesty. Shemitzat shiflosei, because of the person's lowness, ein a maimin. Person doesn't believe that through the person's davening and learning, he causes shefel kol ha'elamis, of sustenance to the worlds, v'gam ha'malachim, even the angels. Not only does the world exist from his learning and davening, the angels exist from Aidei Terasi Gavi Tfilos. So the guy doesn't do it because he says, who am I to do it? Yeah, because if it would believe that, in other words, like this, if a person would really believe on it internally, then listen, when I daven and I learn, I sustain not only this universe, but the angels and all the guys up there. A guy would learn excitedly. Look what he's accomplishing. He's sustaining the world. And not only the angels and everybody. The Gamla says, Lev, to put to the heart, if he will rest simply between the lips, meaning that God is sitting and diligent by the lips of a person, to kiss it, when he is using his lips to say Teira Tefillah. David HaMelech says in Tillim, on this pasuk, Tishkevum Bein Tzvasayim, that God actually is there between the lips. When you're learning and davening, God actually kisses you. He loves you so much. And so he says, if you wouldn't have this fake modesty, you would just think of reality. That when a person learns to daven, he said, you're not going to become awe and fear. That the king is standing near the lips of the person. I mean, in other words, like this, if a person realizes, and this is the problem, by the way, false humility is sinful.
Being very sin, big sin.
Yeah, you're a big sinner. You're so modest. In other words, a person, the Rebbe brings down, it's a famous Hasidic word, just like you have to know your faults, to know what to rectify, you must know your uniqueness, your greatness. Why? Your talents. Why? Because if you're unaware of them or you deny them, then you are wasting a creation that Hashem created. Hashem gave a person the talent of art or music and they don't use it, so they're basically wasting a talent that Hashem gave them. Why did Hashem give this person the talent of art, music, or whatever it is? Because you need to utilize it. So if a guy's going to think, no, I'm a lousy musician, I'm a lousy artist, I'm a lousy this and that, so then he won't do anything. That false humility is going to lead to sin. It is sin.
In the case of art, is actually too many people think they are.
Too many people think there are a lot of things.
Yeah.
Therefore, a person has to realize, to say, listen, they need to understand, any motion, any action, any speech, makes an impression up there. That's what the Baal Shem Tov said. The Baal Shem Tov said a person needs to understand that whatever they do has a tremendous effect up there, down here, in the entire world. On the other hand, when a person thinks, man, he's soften lifnim, what am I like? I'm nothing. Or l'sakin l'mayla, who am I to fix upper and l'sakin elam b'malchus shindalad yud, right? The guy thinks, who am I to do that? And therefore he goes in the wickedness, the crookedness of his heart to do sin because he thinks,
It doesn't mean a broken heart.
No. Well, in Yemai Shomer Azal and Vasanus Rabbi Zechariah, what the Gemara says that the modesty of Rabbi Zechariah Garma Churban caused the Churban of the Beis Hamikdash. It's the famous Kamsa by Kamsa story when the king, the guy Kamsa by Kamsa, right? So the guy that was thrown out of the party went to the emperor. He said the Jews are rebelling against you. He said, how do you know? He said, send them a sacrifice and you'll see they won't bring it. So on the way, the guy made a blemish in the lip or in the eye. Then in Jewish law it's a blemish, and in civil law, Goyish law, it's not considered a blemish. So he came to the Beis Hamikdash with that carbon. So they said, let's, shalom bayis, let's bring it. Let's be makriv it anyway. So Rabbi Chaim ben Avkula said, then people are going to say, you can bring Bramlish Tamils to the Mizbeach. You can't do that. So he said, okay, let's kill this Kamsa guy that he won't be able to report it. So again, Rabbi Chaim ben Avkula said, how could you do that? People are going to say, if you bring a blemished carbon to the Mizbeach, you get killed. So they let him alive, and he went back to the king and snitched. And because of that, he sent the emperor, the generals, and the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. So the Gemara says, "Am vasanushel Rabbi Zechariah." Some of Foshim say the tolerance, but simply means the Baal Shem Tov said the humility, the false humility of Rabbi Zechariah ben Avkulas caused the destruction of Beis Hamikdash. Meaning, false humility. This is what the Baal Shem Tov is saying. False humility is as bad as destroying the Beis Hamikdash. That's what you see from that Gemara.
He was humble in the sense that he wanted to keep the halacha.
There are different Mefarshim that say, some Mefarshim learn that what does mean is modesty. We learned this in Sanhedrin in the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, you have a Bezdin. It was 23, 71, or whatever it is. So after you have the hearings, and it comes to the ruling, so by capital punishment, you start from the lowest judge. And you work yourself up to the top guy. Why? So the Gemara says, because if you stop with the head guy, they're all going to agree with them. And then they're not saying their own opinion. The Torah says everybody has to say their own opinion. So the head guy couldn't care less what the other guys say, right? Because he's greater than them. The lesser guys are going to Okay, Reb Chaim ben Avtilas was the greatest. In his modesty, he said his opinion first. Once he said it, everybody agreed with him. So therefore, that's how some people learn.
They should have chef.
Some people say it means his tolerance. Instead of killing the guy, he was tolerant not to kill him.
Was he a tzana? Or was it before?
Yeah. No, he was a tolerant.
Maybe they should have chef the korban with either kill the guy or
In
chef
Yiddish, there's an expression, if a mice is kinkashinish. You can't ask a question on a story. That's what happened.
Is there any teaching?
Ah,
Huh?
Are there any teachings?
Not too much.
Rabbi, what does the phrase safon lifnei mean?
Hidden inside, I believe.
But doesn't shridus come from shar? Like
No, but Schneerson, Libi Elech, Kiman's face it up and said, I mean the freedom of my heart.
freedom of you're right.
No.
Like happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, but you go, I do whatever I want. You can have a happy-go-lucky guy that's very big tzaddik, is a happy-go-lucky guy also. Okay, so he says like this, Mesiyam Teirah Baal Shem Tov, the end of the Baal Shem Tov's Teirah that we just said, says, Anava Shleibim Kema, false humility in the wrong place is Al Derech HaMasanus, Sherab Schai Shegom, Chub Meis HaMikdash. Okay? So he says, what does the Baal Shem Tov basically say? It's a very powerful statement if you think about it. Baal Shem Tov is saying false humility that a person may have. Who am I? Is like destroying the Beis Hamikdash. He said, move and it's understood. Kasher and Hoga saw the milk of the boy when the behavior of the person is proper. Opposite of false humility, it's the opposite of churban. In other words, in Torah, from Hein you hear lav, and lav you hear Hein. From no you know yes, and yes you know no. He said, if the Baal Shem Tov said false humility is destroying the Beis Hamikdash, that means real humility is building the Beis Hamikdash. And that's what the Friedrich Rebbe writes in the Maamarim at the beginning of Eis Yud. It doesn't say in its midst. Within every individual person. Meaning, by doing proper Aveda, meaning knowing that I could accomplish, and therefore I'm going to break evil, transform evil, because I do accomplish things with it, then you cause the Beis Hamikdash to be built within you. It's talik according to Kushim B'Nechum B'Chol Amin, which is the Shechanti B'Seichem. And another Inyan of this, Sha'av Shebetchilas Teirah Baal Shem Tov, even though at the beginning of the Baal Teirah of the Baal Shem Tov, Movan Mavoyesh Avedas Ameteirah Tefillah. The Baal Shem Tov at the beginning of the Teirah says, when a person does Aveda of Teirah Tefillah, Vayeletz Hamshachas Hashefa B'Chol Ha'ilmis, V'gam B'Malochim. What did Baal Shem Tov say in the Torah? When a Jew does Aveda, not only does he sustain the world, but he sustains even the Malachim. Menachem, Mevor B'Hemshech. Hadvar, the Baal Shem Tov continues in this Torah and says, Shamel of God of V'ner Hashem V'Sheker Al Svasaim Shel Adam, that the great king is guarding and diligent, meaning resting on that. Hamadabe B'divrei Torah Tefillah Mal God of V'ner Daika. Move on, Shakavon ila atzmas hamelech. That refers to the essence of the king, k'fi shulamayla mimelech alam, higher in the level of the king over the nation, visnasus atzmis, meaning like this. Essential, the essence of royalty, the essence of it being elevated, meaning like this. There's two aspects in the king. There's the way the king is a king, Melech B'Layam. There's no king without a nation. That means there's a level of kingdom, of royalty, that you have a nation, he's king over the nation. That is not the way the king is by himself. That's the way the king is already relating to the subjects. Then there's a level in the king himself, the way the king is who he is by himself. Okay, in fact, we mentioned many times. There's the Friedrich Rebbe has a maimer, many Maamarim. We say every day in davening at the beginning, Adein Elam Hashem Malach B'Terem Kol Yitzur Niven. Adonai Olam, master of the world, Hashem Malach that ruled before anything was created. But then Kol Yitzur Nivra. So Chassidus asks, how could that be? You can't be a king without a nation. How could Hashem be a king before anything is created? There's no kingdom. You need to have subjects. Okay? So what's the explanation of that? There's two levels of a king. When you say Ein Melech B'Lo, that's the level of the king that's associating and relating with subjects, with the world. Then there's the essential essence of the king that is above any connection to the nation whatsoever. He is a king himself. You can understand that. The way he has nothing to do with the subjects. Because the truth of the matter is, the king, like it says by Sholem Melech, Mishichmei Ulamayla Gavoya Mikol Am, head and shoulders above everybody. Simply, when you learn the pasuk, it means the simple meaning he was taller. But Chassidus explains, Sholem Melech Mishichmei Ulamayla, meaning the head from the shoulders up. His head, his seichel, was above everybody else's seichel.
And what does shoulders mean? That's the emotions?
No, it's above.
No. His head means seichel. Shoulders also he was above the nation.
Yeah, but shoulders is what holds up the head. Basically, I mean the shichmei l'mayla from the shoulder up. No, it means he's above everybody in that level. There's a level of malchus. The way malchus is by itself, the melech is by itself. So he says from the Baal Shem Tov's Torah, it comes out that when he said at the beginning, before the false humility, when he said at the beginning of the Maamarim that when a person does Torah mitzvahs, the Rebbe is just standing by his lips and connecting to him, kissing him. Yeah. He said it implies that he's talking to the level of the king, not the way the king associates with the people. The way the king is, like he says, Shakvar atz the melech, kamei shilamayla mi melech alam, b'stasis atzmis. That's the way malchus mushreshes ba'asmas and muhus. The way malchus is connected to the essence, l'mayla misha shot tasfiris dezah, above the all other levels of Chachma, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, Netzach, you say.
Above all that.
Above all that. V'hainu. Shaydei Aveda Sa'odam Nasasam Shacho Atmas Dafke. If you know, remember we discussed the other day, when it says Iker Shchina B'Tachtenim Haisa, it doesn't say Shchina B'Tachtenim Haisa in the Medrash. It says Iker Shchina B'Tachtenim Haisa. And the Rebbe in the first Basi Legani, Toshin Yud Aleph, the Rebbe elaborates, very complicated, but the level of Iker Shchina, because there's Shchina in Atzilus, there's Shchina in Bria, there's Shchina above Atzilus, there's Shchina this. This is the level of Iker Shchina, is a level of Malchus that existed Lifnei Atzimtzum. That's Iker Shchina B'Tachtenim Haisa. And therefore, when Mashiach comes, we're going to re-bring that Shchina back down. What's going to be revealed? The essence of Hashem, the way Hashem is essence as essence, not the way he associates with world. Right? So that's what he's saying.
Shalom was born like that, or he became like that when he did Mitzvah?
Everybody is born with the ability to become. He did it. He worked on it.
He worked on it.
Yeah, if he slept the whole day, it wouldn't have happened.
He worked on it before.
Like a tzaddik, no, tzaddik. A tzaddik is born a tzaddik.
He was so, he acted like he saw out of it.
He did not.
Huh?
He did not. When Shalom Melech saw David, he thought David Melech is rebelling against him. He wanted to kill him. Are you kidding?
Before he was chosen as a king, he acted.
I don't know how he acted. It doesn't say.
Huh?
It doesn't say how he acted. Okay, one of the kings of Eden, one of the kings of Eden was Shaul Mechavis Anor. Shaul from the Mechavis Anor. So Chassidus explains the level of Shaul. Mechavis Anor means from the broadness of the river, higher, the highest levels of Gan and Eden and Nor, all the way up there. V'hainu sheidei aveda sa'odam nasam shachas ha'atzmas dafka. Okay? Okay, be continued.
When I dismiss